Name, spelling, title.
What was that?
Let's have your name and spelling
Yes.
to the camera. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Diana Gonzalez. That's Dianagonzalez. And I am the Executive Director of New Yorkers for a Better Penn Plan. And we are here today to discuss our desperate need for housing in this neighborhood and how that need is being completely ignored by the government. So I want to start by talking about how we got here. In 2018, Governor Cuomo started the planning for this project to build a campus of luxury office towers in the Penn Station area. This would be a huge giveaway to the developer of these towers, Vornado, with over $1 billion tax break coming at the taxpayers' expense. Now, we have had a changed reality. COVID has changed everything. We no longer need office towers, but Governor Hochul is insisting that we continue with this plan. Just the other day, Vornado announced that it would be converting the former site of the Penn Hotel, which was a 2,000-room beautiful historic hotel that has been demolished. They're going to convert it to tennis courts. So that's what we're going to have right here. Is we're going to have luxury tennis courts for the uber wealthy. But what we need is housing. So we are today calling on the governor to reopen the general project plan, to make it a housing project plan, and proceed with what we desperately need and scrap this plan for luxury office towers. So I want to start by introducing Charles Kahn from Strong Economy for All.
Yeah.
Hi.
Good morning.
Good afternoon. At every step of the way, Governor Hochul and Vornado have had the opportunity to give New Yorkers what they've been asking for. Every year, we see articles of hundreds of thousands of New Yorkers leaving New York, largely because the housing crisis and the housing unaffordability crisis has gotten out of hand. And this project could have been an opportunity to house, to create housing in this neighborhood for New Yorkers that need it. Instead, the governor has created a red carpet for a luxury development that no one in New York has asked for. No one in New York, if you ask New Yorkers on the street, is asking for office tower. No one in New York is asking for tennis courts. What they're demanding is affordable housing. And this is maybe the clearest symbol that the governor is failing, again, to listen to New Yorkers, is failing to deliver on the priority of New Yorkers, and instead catering in the clearest, most disingenuous way to the biggest donors in the state. I don't think, and I think that Vornado has made it very clear that they don't give a hell about what New Yorkers want, but I expected better of the governor, and it's disappointing that this project has been going on since 2018. Every single year, New York is saying we don't want this stopped, we want housing, and the governor just continues down this path that's just going to lead to a more unaffordable New York. Thank you.
Thank you, Charles. Next, we're going to hear from John Mudd of the Midtown South Community Council.
Hello, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning. Thank you for standing here with us today. My name is John Mudd. I'm the Executive Director of the Midtown South Community Council. I've been living in this neighborhood since 1984. The council's been around just as long. We focus on health, housing, and food. Amazing, right? I mean, you really need to be out of touch with your head stuck so far up your ass to put a tennis court where the Hotel Penn Station used to sit. Like 2,200 rooms would have made for a lot of homes. And we need homes. We're desperate for homes. And we were in a crisis before the pandemic came along. We're in a severe crisis now, and they think about tennis courts. This is how they think about us. This is how they look down upon us. They really don't care. They've never cared. They let this hotels blossom in Midtown all over the city, which could have been, and they squashed a lot of housing doing it. A lot of small tenement buildings. I live over in that neighborhood. They killed a lot of tenement buildings. And now during the pandemic, what did they do? They funded the hotels. They put people who were unhoused into the hotels to keep the hotels operating. We worked on bills. We tried to create opportunities to transform the hotels into housing. But did that happen? No. This is what they do. Now they want to wait until the air is ripe and they can move on. They want to create a commercial district from river to river. ESD Holly Light said that on a Zoom meeting. We've been dreaming about this for 30 years. No thoughts of housing in over a almost 20 million square foot here. Not one consideration for housing. Not one consideration for housing when they built Hudson Yards. And while I would argue 180,000 people are homeless, couch surfing, they're in hospitals, they're doubling up. I have people calling me all the time for help. There's no housing available. We have a domestic violence shelter over there that is unacceptable, dysfunctional. And the women can't find housing to leave. The women are left to join congregated shelters, Franklin shelters. These are people that are suffering violence. The homeless people are gathered into large rooms. The immigrants are filling up the hotels. And you got a hotel developer, a hotel owner, opening more hotels in Midtown. They bought recently, Lux Urban bought a hotel that used to house immigrants. He's going to move them all out and create a hotel in an industry at this time when we don't need it and when we desperately need housing. It's arrogant. It's full of disdain. And they're sticking the middle finger in our eyes. And I'm furious about it. And I know I speak for a lot of people. And so we need to coalesce. We need to think about solidarity. We need to come together and we need to fight this. Midtown is where the fight is. Thank you.
Thank you, John. Next up, we'll have Layla Lagasico from Community Board 5.
Thank you so much. Good morning, everyone. Thank you all for coming. This is really infuriating. My name is Layla Lagasico. I'm the chair of the Land Use, Housing and Zoning Committee for Manhattan Community Board 5. As you know, recent reports suggesting the construction of tennis courts on the side of Hotel Penn have left our community bewildered, to say the least. Such a proposal brings really great consternation to all of us. Hotel Penn's legacy deserves more than a frivolous replacement. And this is why Community Board 5 is emphatically calling for housing to be developed on the site and not private ball fields. Community Board 5 passed a resolution 2 months ago calling for this site behind us to be developed into housing. But the one thing you need to understand is that currently the new zoning regulation known as the GPP preclude housing development on this site. So even if in their infinite magnitude Vornado wanted to build housing, the zoning that was voted and enacted by the states would not permit that, which is why the GPP must be repealed. What we need, let's be very clear, we need housing. Do we need ball games? No. Do we need pickleball? No. Do we need tennis courts that would be private? No. Do we need housing?
Yes.
Yes. So the GPP that currently preclude housing must be repealed. I just want to make it very clear and call on the governor to take immediate action. The time is now. Let's repeal the GPP. Let's stop the folly of tennis courts or pickleball in front of Penn Station. What kind of projects, what kind of problem is the governor trying to solve? What kind of problem is Vornado trying to solve? I think this is the epitome of why the markets cannot provide the solution that this community needs. We need housing, we need the state to change, and we need the state to repeal the GPP. We need good policies. These drawings that you saw, this is a policy failure. We cannot let that happen. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Layla. And oh, you're here. Hello. Hi, I didn't see this. Next up, we have Paige Havener from Ann Hochul's Homes.
Hi everyone, my name is Paige Havner. I'm the campaign coordinator for End Hochul's Homes. I'm joined today by members of the End Hochul's Homes Coalition and fellow community members who are standing against this proposal. We've gathered outside the former Hotel Pennsylvania to protest mega developer Vornado's ridiculous plan for luxury tennis courts in the heart of Manhattan. This site is one of the many properties reserved for construction of luxury office towers under an infamous plan backed by Governor Hochul. Her project calls for nearly 18 million square feet of new commercial space and office space that equal more than 6 Empire State Buildings worth of space. But look around. The boarded up buildings and empty lots around us are the results of Hochul's hoax and the plan for the area. The plan has starved this community of sustainable development that meets the needs of the people who call this area home. And in spite of this seemingly obvious reality, Governor Hochul refuses to give up on this plan. These office buildings aren't getting built, not in this economy. So instead, while the neighborhood waits for commercial development that may never come, Vornado is announcing plans to build luxury tennis courts and a 10-story billboard alongside it. This isn't right, and this is not what our neighbors need or want. We will not allow the governor to put real estate interests before the needs of struggling New Yorkers and turn our community into a playground for the rich and powerful. Our community today is here to call for a new plan, one that prioritizes the development of affordable housing that we so urgently need here in New York City. The governor herself has called on communities throughout New York State to build housing near transit, and she acknowledges the need to build wherever possible and as soon as possible to solve the state's acute housing shortage. The site of this project is massive, and it could be home to 10,000 new housing units. For some reference, New York City is projected to have built just 11,000 units of housing in the entire city last year. But her Penn plan not only ignores housing, it actually forbids any new housing on all but the smallest site, with affordable housing making up only 2% of that 18 million square foot of development space. The time for housing is now. The time for going back to the drawing board and reworking the plan that she endorsed is now. So today we're calling on the governor to abandon support for this ridiculous plan and incorporate real input from the community members and advocacy groups who all agree that we need to put housing first. Thank you.
All right, thank you for joining us today, everyone. And if you have any questions, we will take them. And if not, that's cool too. All right.
That's it?
I'll